Hello friends, my dear students, myself Wandhare Sheetal from XII.SCI Rao Boroke College Sirampur. This video is prepared under the guidance and support of Honorable Principal Dr. Gaikwad Sahib. This video is only for the educational purpose. Now in this video we are going to discuss about the origin and evolution of life, some part, that is the Urey and Miller's experiment, how the chemical theory of evolution experimentally get proof in the laboratory, and how the success they get that the life is originated by using this point or evolutionary line which is get proved by this chemical theory of evolution. Now here come towards the Urey and Miller's experiment. Here this diagram it is showing the experimental setup of this Urey and Miller's experiment. It is the complete closed glass container. It don't have to enter the any type of the other environmental substances, only that experimental setup it is get closed here. The Stanley L. Miller and his teacher, the Harold C. Urey, they shows the experimental setup and evidences in support, that is the chemical theory of evolution. They designed this glass containing apparatus, they called it as a spark discharge apparatus, and here this apparatus it was get first sterilized, evacuated the methane, ammonia, hydrogen and the gases, they were get pumped here in this proportion of 1:2:2. In this closed glass chamber, a tube carrying water which is get also connected to this chamber. Here on one side the entry of the water is takes place, and on another side the outlet, this shows that water it will be get discharged. The lightning effect it is made up of that electric discharge spark. They are having near about the 7,500 volt. That spark discharge apparatus or that such type of the electric supply is get provided in this container, and here the mixture of ammonia, methane, hydrogen, they exposed continuously to electric discharge for the several days, causing the gas to interact. After this they were get the condensed. The liquid collection in this U-tube turned. This chemical analysis of the liquid reported the presence of the simple organic compound. This organic compound in the form of here urea, amino acid, lactic acid, etc. Here due to the condensation of the gases, the complex substances they are get start to form, and this experimental setup that Urey and Miller here clearly get proved that by using this spark discharge apparatus or these Urey Miller's apparatus, the chemical theory of evolution that will be get proved that the by sequential manner here the life is get originated from the simple elements to the complex elements, and at the last stage where the proteins, amino acids, they are get formed, they are get combined, condensed, form the nucleotide. And as we know that here these nucleotides they are nothing but here the composition of the DNA and RNA. This experiment clearly proved that the chemical theory of evolution it was get correct. After that here the come towards the organic evolution. Here this organic evolution that it is the gate, or we can say that in the simplified manner, this organic evolution it can be defined as the slow, gradual, continuous and irreversible change through which the present day complex forms of the life it is get developed from their simple pre-existing form. According to this Charles Darwin, he have proposed this theory, and according to this evolution it is nothing but the modification. And we have studied already the Lamarckian theory of evolution, and according to this theory the traits they are responsible to change the environment. Now here this evolutionary theory or the Darwin's theory it is follows these following points, and due to that they have get proved how the origin of the species takes place. This Charles Darwin it is the naturalist, and in 20th December 1831 to October 1836, he get back to the England and collected the living fossil of the material. His book, The Origin of the Species by Natural Selection, published in 1859, and in his book he have proposed this theory. Now come towards which are the main postulates of this Darwin's theory of evolution. The first is the overproduction or the prodigality of the nature. Here in this overproduction, the number of the species of the animal that should be remain constant to get survive. But if that number that will be get increase, at that time these animals they are get unable to survive. Ultimately they are get disturbing the balance to the ecosystem. That is the natural tendency to produce here the progeny in the geometric ratio. But here if the number of the species that will be get more as per the requirement, at that time these animals they are not get survived here. For example, here the 750 years ago, or the simple animal they can get less produce the more egg, and if that is not need to the ecosystem also, and automatically the whatever the millions of the eggs they are get produced by these salmon fishes, they are not get survive. Only the requirement is there, and these dominant are there, or those who are get adapted surviving capacity are there, they are get survived. Means here these overproduction suggests that automatically those are the strong, those are the having the adaptation capacity, they can be get survive, or remaining they are automatically destroyed. The second is here the struggle for the existence. The tendency of overproduction leads to the struggle for the existence between the members of the population of the limited supply of food to overcome adverse environmental condition or to get fight against the enemy. And whatever the organisms now also living on the earth surface, or maybe they are live on the previous condition on the earth surface, here they have to struggle with their enemies, they have to struggle for their food material, they have to struggle for their live condition. These all the things of the animal they have to face. And in case of also that the strongest animal or those animals they can be get adapt to the climatic condition, these animals automatically get survive here. The next is the organic variation. In this organic variation here, that variation may be in the form of the morphology, may be in the form of the physiology, nutrition, habit, and the behavioral pattern. As we know that here the morphology of each animal is the different, each plant is the different, their habitat is also different, their physiology, the nutrition and the diet, these all the things are the different. Now this Darwin recognized that this variation of the raw material for the evolution, and these variation were observed among the member of the same species, even in also they may be from different genera or the different species also. The next one is the natural selection. This organic variation, it can be served as evidence that the some organism they are better adapted to survive under the changing climatic condition, and the struggle for the existence of the organism with the favorable variation are selected by the nature, while those with the unfavorable their variation perishes. According to Darwin, principally by which here useful variation are preserved by nature is called the natural selection. And here he explained the process, that is the survival of the fittest. He get the success to explain the survival of the fittest, because these animals due to the climatic condition they can be survive, they can be adapt, they require the food material that will be get completed here. The last is here the origin of the new species or the formation of the species. That concept is known as a speciation. As the favorable condition variations are there, they are get transmitted from generation to generation, and here the successive generation become better adapted to the environment, because those are the dominant, they automatically get survive, those are the recessive, they are automatically get the suppressed here. The gradually these adaptation with a few modification, they become fixed in the life cycle, and finally the new species formation takes place. These points, these postulates Darwin have been explained in his theory of the organic evolution. But the Darwin's theory is also having the some drawbacks. Now which are the drawbacks of this Darwin's theory? Here he considered a minute fluctuation in variation as a principal factor, and which is not variable and which is not the part of the evolution. The second drawback is that he explained only the survival of the fittest, but he is unable to explain the arrival of the fittest, and he could not explain the origin, inheritance and variation of the vestigial organ. He also could not explain the extinction of the species. The Darwin's unable to distinguish between the somatic cell and the germinal variation or the gametic cell, which are responsible for the variable concept. According to this natural selection, the new species are formed by gradual accumulation by useful variation. If it is so, then there should be intermediate forms, but in case of this intermediate form, they were not recognized, and Darwin is unable to explain here the natural flowers and the sterility of the hybrid. How this neutral condition also takes place, he is unable to explain. How the hybrids are get formed, he is unable to explain. These are here the some drawbacks of the Darwin's theory. Now come towards here the mutation theory. Here the scientist Hugo de Vries, he have proposed this mutation theory, and he's proposed this theory based on observation of the 7th generation of a plant, that is here the name of the plant is the evening primrose. Or 4 o'clock plant, and the scientific name of that is the Oenothera lamarckiana. He found this, it is the very common in habitat. This plant is found everywhere, having the herbaceous nature, and he found that the spontaneously here the mutation takes place. The 7th generation of this Hugo de Vries get observed, and up to this 7th generation he found out that the some changes takes place naturally. And as we know that here this mutation, it is nothing but here the inheritable change in the chromosome, that is known as the mutation. And here this mutation theory, what it suggests that according to this theory here, the various changes in the flower color automatically takes place. The simple twig is there, one single twig is there, and this single twig, it is responsible to produce 3 to 4 colors of the flower. Why this thing is happen, that is get observed by this Hugo de Vries, and that thing is happen or these color changes takes place due to here the mutation. This mutation, it is nothing but the here the sudden discontinuous variation, and these changes are the inheritable. They provide here the raw material for the organic evolution. It may be useful or harmful. The some mutations are maybe the useful to the animal, and some mutation here may be here the harmful to the animal. The accumulation of these mutation over a period of time that leads to the origin and the formation of the new species. Maybe due to here the evolution of the new species takes place by the concept of the mutation. The harmful mutation, if takes place, they persist and get here eliminated by the nature. If the suffering to exposure to the ultraviolet radiation, X-ray radiation is there, that may be damage to the cell, damage to the genetic material, and automatically here the person that will be get suffer from the mutation concept. Now here also this theory, it is having the some objections. Which are the objections of this mutation theory? The large and discontinuous variation, it is get observed by this Hugo de Vries actually. Due to chromosomal aberration, due to gene mutation, here the some minor changes takes place. The secondly here, the rate of mutation, it is very slow as compared to the evolution. Whatever the rate required for the evolution, at that process or in that percentage here, the mutation it is not takes place. The chromosomal aberration, they are having a very little significance in evolution. They are quite here unstable. These objections takes place by these on this mutation theory of evolution. In this way here we have seen here the Urease and Miller's experiment, how the chemical theory of evolution that will be get proved in laboratory by using this Urease and Miller's experiment. After that, the Darwin's postulate, drawbacks of this Darwin's theory, and the mutation theory proposed by this Hugo de Vries and their objections also. Thank you.